Hi, I'm here with Kevin Nemetz, founder of Tix4Cause. Kevin, if you can please introduce your company for me.
Sure, absolutely. Tix4Cause is really it's an e-commerce site that is allowing the consumers and donors and links to charities and really gives people the opportunity to bring power back to their purchases of entertainment tickets. A few years ago, I noticed sitting in some pretty expensive seats for a baseball game, how many empty seats were around me. And I realized very quickly that if those seats could be filled for charity and we had the ability to sell those to the consumer at a fair price and put the money towards charity, it would really be a great thing.
Beautiful, that sounds like a great idea. I'm interested in hearing more about your entrepreneurial experience. Do you have prior experience, even with smaller things that maybe you experienced in your youth, little side endeavors? If you can kind of tell me about your background a little bit, that'd be
Sure,
great.
absolutely. I grew up in the Midwest, and I think my father was always kind of an entrepreneur, so I kind of got excited about it. I actually went more of a disciplined path and started at Procter and Gamble, where I was there for almost 15 years. And even while you're there in a corporation like that, I had 8 different moves in that period of time. So I was kind of on the leading edge of some new startup type opportunities, such as like a corporate team leader for major accounts. Um, Later in my career, I did consulting for PricewaterhouseCoopers, which gave me additional, more dynamic opportunities to see how others did things. So I didn't know it just one way. And ultimately, I did become a CEO of a startup for the meat and poultry industry and building one of the first B2Bs in the internet.
Beautiful. So you have experience with starting businesses. Tell me about how you use technology to advance your current business.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, technology, it's our entire platform. And it's very unique in how we're doing this because if you think about it, you could see us when you talk about competition. Are we competing against all of the major ticket networks? Okay, that might be a competitor. We're also competing in one sense and giving a better alternative to charities when it comes to Eventbrite and PayPal because we do the charity events for them. Um, as well as we're also that kind of consultant to the charities. But unique about our total website is when we architected this, we had one principle in mind, and that was to make sure that everyone wins at Tix4Cause. So when a donor donates tickets, it automatically gives them a tax benefit for doing it with the charity's EIN number and information on the page. So the charity doesn't have to do those letters anymore, but they sit in a file in a portal for every one of our individual members of our site. Obviously, the charities receive, uh, you know, incremental funds without really having to do the auction or having to do the golf outings or any of those types of events. The purchasers are getting great seats at a great price, and it's all interacted, all giving us the opportunity to query our consumers. And our ultimate goal is to really drive a demographic of cause-based consumers, not price-based. We've gone way too far with price-based in what we're doing with daily deals. This is about cause-based consumers, and therefore we're hoping to have 20,000 of them within the next 6 to 8 months.
That's amazing. So these tickets are available for purchase on your site. How do you come across these tickets that you're offering?
Okay, we come across them in several different ways. We'd like to think that within the next few weeks we will have more entertainment tickets than anyone in the country.
Wow.
And the reason I can say that is, first of all, we have a very unique partnership with the largest ticket network out there. So while we can't really adjust the price of those tickets, we provide 42% of the service fee back to the charity of the purchaser's choice. So if you're used to buying tickets on Ticketmaster or StubHub and you came to Tix4Cause, you're going to see the same tickets, the 10 million of them that we have on the site right now, all over the country. The difference will be that we'll give 42% of your service fee to the charity of your choice. Now, in addition to that, we also get tickets from the venues. So Blue Man Group realizes they've got matinees they can't fill, the White Sox, the Cubs. They will come to us and say, you know what, instead of the charities coming through us, can the charities come through you? And then we allocate the tickets. Everyone wants just to charge a fair price for their tickets. And then ultimately, within the next week, we will have on our site corporations tickets. corporations only use 60% of their tickets that they have and they make budgets for. We're working with a company right now that manages over 500 corporations' entertainment tickets. So you'll see skyboxes on there. You'll see theater tickets at some of the best things going in New York. These are companies like Bank of America, United Healthcare, Coca-Cola, major consumer products type companies that are looking for another alternative to give their tickets to, and they'll have the ability to click on a heart, pick the charity, and the item will move directly over to our site.
That's amazing. It sounds like you have a great process down. Now, I'm interested in some of your operations when you first started out. Tell me how you really pushed your company forward in your first month of operation. What are some tactics that you used?
Okay, I think it's a great question. We really, because we're an entrepreneur and because we founded this and we fund this ourselves, we really have adopted the model that it's few to many. And the idea is that it's the 80-20 rule, however we want to look at it. But what we look at is we bring charities on for free. Those charities have enormous numbers of supporters. We have a charity right now we're working with, for example, 1.2 million supporters across the country. So we're allowing them and giving them the collateral to get the information out to their consumers because they're not donors. We want to think of them as consumers and purchase our tickets. When we early started, at the beginning of this process, we did have a pilot group of charities, and they were from churches to Children's Memorial Hospital to small to large, and we quickly were able to get some radio press and this type of thing out there. So we were kind of taking it, and we only really tested it initially in Chicago. So currently, right now, we have over 450 charities that are just Chicago-based on our site.
That's amazing. And I'm sure it's taken a lot of experiences to get you to the point where you are today. Tell me about your greatest failure or disaster in business.
There have been several. But that's what makes you who you are, really. I mean, that's the beauty in it is I think this journey has been one of more of the evolution than it's been the revolution. And the evolution has been one of, we started off and we thought, well, you know what, charities will adopt this overnight. And they'll pay us $249 to be on our site. And we'll give them 100% of the proceeds. And when we were speaking to board members, they'd write the check in front of me.
Wow.
But we couldn't see the board members, right? I mean, the board members are only meeting maybe quarterly or so. So when it came to the charities, you had to really have some empathy for what the charities are going through and their budgets. And their budgets are very low. And so $249, which I would think under $250, easy to get that approval, was not that easy. And so we realized as we looked at, we had a CRM tool that we were using. And so we were able to kind of measure how long it would take for us to get a customer on board. And it went over 100 days. And realizing that it's all about getting traction, we suddenly then went to the 90-10 rule, where we give 90% of the proceeds to the charity and 10% on a straight donation. Now, when it comes to the ticket network, we keep half. When it comes to other situations, we'll keep half. We never give less than half of what we earn to the charity. And so from that standpoint, that was kind of an initial startup. I also probably could have done this, a lot cheaper from the website build. I went with a fairly expensive platform initially. I don't regret it now. I did then. And it's also, you got to surround yourself with the right people. And we're not really in the heart of Chicago. We're actually out here in Naperville, and we're all over the country with what we're doing. But it would have been nice and important probably to be in an incubator initially in the Chicago market.
Okay, great. Now, as a growing company, as a company that's freshly starting, we always say that we're different, we're better than all of our competitors. What are some things that really make your company unique? What really makes you shine?
Oh, wow. Well, we'd like to think that we've raised almost $225,000 for charity without them having to lift a finger. So I think that's kind of a neat idea. There's there's a part of us that we've got so many different revenue stream opportunities that either that's something that's unique about us or that we've got to really hone in and focus on. But we've had some amazing tickets. I mean, when you're getting 2 4-day passes to the most difficult ticket in sports, which is the Masters, and you're able to sell it for $9,000 in 22 minutes and make $8,100 for Ronald McDonald House, and you still make $900 doing it, that's a pretty exciting, cool thing. When you're selling, 15,000 tickets for a concert for the American Fallen Warriors Memorial Foundation, which is the next major memorial that we're going to give to our troops that have fallen. Since there's nothing been since the Vietnam Wall, for us to be a part of that is a really exciting venture. And for us we were called in by the British government. They wanted us in there for the U.S. Olympics, or for the Olympics, because the biggest issue with the Olympics was corporate sponsors. So, I mean, we're starting to be requested by different people. We also have kind of a unique spokesperson in one of the Real Housewives of D.C. Name was Mary Amons, and she's done a lot of really great things, and we're continuing to see more and more opportunities for us to grow. But uniquely, no one's doing it like us. No one's moving the tickets, and if more and more people knew that they could buy tickets here, but we also have athletes. We have Charles Tillman, we have Ryan Dempster, we have Kerry Wood, we have Kurt Warner. We even gave away 100 tickets for My Morning Jacket in Dallas that were backstage passes for the Big Brothers Big Sisters. Everybody wants to associate to a cause. They just have to find a way to do it. And Tix4Cause is that vehicle.
That's amazing. Kevin, I have one last question for you. Tell me your predictions for your company in the next year.
In the next year, we want to, we really, it's focused on awareness. It's focused on few to many with the charities. Our prediction is that we will do over $1 million in sales. We will have probably closer to 50,000 charities on, because we're getting major charities contacting us every day of the week. And that we will be seen as a new alternative for cause-based consumers. And that demographic will be a very, very hot demographic for a lot of people that want to associate with cause-based consumers. We see consumer products companies doing it every day of the week. At Procter & Gamble, I mean, they're investing millions of dollars in putting that pink ribbon on packaging. And why? Because consumers relate to causes. And that's what we're trying to do more and more about. And ultimately, the most important thing is that we want to raise over $1 million in the next year for charities.
That's amazing. It sounds like you have some really great things planned for the next year. I really look forward to seeing that happen.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and interview with me.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.